Hello everyone, I'm the Magic Illumineer, and welcome to my little corner of magic and wonder on the internet where I discuss Disney Lorcana. Today we start a mini-series of reviewing themes and synergies within the different ink colors of Lorcana. I will be going through each ink in alphabetical order, starting with Amber, and I'll be discussing different thematic elements with these cards, including combos and also synergies with the other ink colors it can combine with. Let's begin. Okay, so for starters, at the time of this recording, Amber has a unique mechanic available to it, which is the singer mechanic. This allows characters to exert themselves to sing songs at a higher value than they would normally be able to achieve. Ariel Spectacular Singer and Sebastian Court Composer are the only two released cards at this moment with the ability, but this can and likely will change in the future. This is certainly a mechanic that I think a deck can be built around with the right combo pieces, and there are still several cards that are yet to be seen in the set, which has not been fully spoiled yet. Amber also has several methods of drawing cards and filling your hand back up to be able to keep pressure on your opponents. For example, the legendary card Stitch, Carefree Surfer, which allows you to draw two cards if you have two or more other characters in play when Stitch is played. There's also Ursula's Shell Necklace, which synergizes with the previously mentioned Singer mechanic, as it allows you to pay one ink to draw a card whenever you play a song card. Another Stitch, this time Stitch Rockstar, allows you to draw a card using the Adoring Fans ability. This ability allows you to exert a character that you're playing with cost 2 or less, and then that will let you draw a card. So a major mechanical focus seen within the Amber ink color is tribal synergies. Amber has two distinct tribal mechanics which focus on using different tribes. There's Moana of Motunui, and she allows you to ready any and all of your other princesses when you quest for lore with her. And while they won't have the ability to quest for the rest of the turn, this does allow you to gather up significant amounts of lore using any princesses you have in play, and then you can quest with Moana after that to ready them all again, and they can then be used for other things like challenges and singing. Then the other known tribal mechanic in Amber is with Hades, King of Olympus. Hades has the ability Sinister Plot, which gives them +1 lore for each other villain character that you have in play. His base stats give him 1 lore, but each additional villain that you have in play increases that number. Lastly, there is a musketeer tribe that doesn't really have a lot of support right now. There's only 2 musketeers that have been released. Presumably, there will be a third in Donald, but currently there is Goofy in Amber, and then there's Mickey in Steel. Hopefully, more support will be provided with more options in the future as more cards become available. But in the first chapter, this seems like it's going to be limited. The last mechanic that I want to kind of touch upon here in Amber is the healing mechanic. Characters maintain all damage that is done to them after a challenge, assuming that they're not banished. Amber and Sapphire currently are the only colors with cards capable of healing characters. There's the item Dinglehopper, for example, which allows you to exert in order to remove 1 damage counter from a chosen character. And then in addition to that, there's the character Timon, Grub Rustler, who can also remove up to 1 damage from a chosen character when you play him. With regards to Amber's overall theme, the Lorcana website has the following posted on there. Amber glimmers are purposeful, patient and dedicated. They're able to pursue causes and ambitions with single minded persistence. They often work within communities, either from above as a leader or from within as a healer, bodyguard, or just a loyal follower. When analyzing the cards that have been released so far, I think that's pretty easy to see. When you're looking at, for example, leaders, you have Moana or Hades, even bodyguards. You have Goofy Musketeer, literally with the bodyguard ability, the keyword, and then you also have followers like Hey Hey and Timon come to mind. It really feels like Ravensburger achieved their thematic goal for Amber so far with the first chapter here. So there are various options available within each color combination, and my intention here is not necessarily to provide details on the strongest combination of cards. After all, there's not really a meta or competitive scene in Lorcana yet. That's going to come down the road eventually, but it's not really in the cards just yet. While we're working with the first chapter, and probably not even for the first few sets. I feel like that's going to come later down the road. The focus here in this section is going to be more to provide opinions on interesting synergies you'll find while searching for your own favorite color combination. And I'm going to go through each color here, and I'm going to start with Amethyst. So for Amethyst, seemingly the best synergies that can be made between these two colors is probably um, the drawing cards and villain synergies that are within each of these two colors. So, for example, there are several different villain options to choose from, such as Jafar and Dr. Facilier if you're looking to make use of challenger abilities where you can challenge opponents' characters with increased strength. Or there's cards like Yzma or even the various forms of Maleficent, which can bolster your villain count for Hades to gather significant amounts of lore. In terms of card draw options, you have the song Friends on the Other Side, for example, and that's going to let you draw two cards. You have Magic Mirror, which you can exert and pay ink to draw a card. Even Maleficent Sorcerer allows you to on entering play allows you to draw a card. So there's a lot of different options if you're looking to bolster either of these strategies with Amethyst. Moving on to Emerald next. This one's a little bit tougher. Emerald's, even with the card reveals that happened very recently here, Emerald still does not have a lot revealed at this point. It's it's difficult to say what I think would be a good synergy when it comes to Amber and Emerald. Um, it feels like the best form of synergy I can find would be using removal to protect your amber cards. You can use things like Cheshire Cat and Cruella de Vil to draw focus away from other threats you might have on the board and protecting viable strategies, though they might be suited for other color combinations better than with Amber. Additionally, you have things like Genie on the Job, which can return a chosen character to its owner's hand to remove threats. And then you also have Beast Wolfsbane, which allows you to exert all opponents' characters that are damaged, thus allowing you to target them for challenges and be removing them from the board. But an alternative option would be to use the cards that grant the Reckless condition, perhaps, forcing your opponents to have to deal with that. And you can do that through cards like Yago, Loudmouth Parrot, or even The Beast is Mine. Um, I feel like this might not be the best choice at this time to synergize with Amber, but it's certainly an option. Going down the list, next would be Ruby. And in my opinion, Ruby's greatest strength is the powerful high costed cards. They're very strong if you can get enough ink into your inkwell. Cards like Maleficent Monstrous Dragon can banish a character when you play her. Plus, there's the villain synergy tie in there. There's also the Dragonfire, which is essentially the same ability without the body. So there's multiple options there for removal. Then you also have options like Mulan Imperial Soldier, which offers princess synergy. Though I find she's not as strong with Moana as one would hope, since you can't really stack their abilities cleanly. Um, but if you do choose to build with strong finishers, for example, you have so many great options to choose from. It would be hard not to include, for example, Mickey Mouse Brave Little Tailor for his 4 lore generation and evasive, and he also has high strength and willpower at 5 for each. The evasive package really does have potential to be quite strong. My personal favorite option here is Aladdin Heroic Outlaw. It's just such a cool card in my opinion. Comboing that with even Rapunzel letting her down her hair to use that lore reduction and stealing mechanic, which is just so fascinating to me. I don't know how well it really would synergize with the Amber package, but it just has such an appeal to it because it's such an interesting mechanic. Moving on to Sapphire. Sapphire is one of the more intriguing options as a color partner for Amber, in my opinion. Sapphire offers the ramp package. It has one jump ahead and let it go, which while you wouldn't necessarily want to use it for ramp primarily, you would want to use it for removal. It does still give you that option to ramp if you need to. At the time of recording, it does have the largest number of princesses available to synergize with Moana. There are several versions of Aurora. There's Ariel, Who's It Collector, Belle, Innovative Engineer. Lots of great choices there, in my opinion. Sapphire also does offer some interesting options for villains, such as Scar Mastermind to weaken your opponent's characters when it enters play, and also some more Maleficent options as well. Last on the list is Steel. I find that in a similar situation to Emerald, Steel doesn't necessarily contain a large number of synergies with Amber cards, despite having several more revealed cards than Emerald currently. I find them to be kind of in the same boat. There are a couple of options for like card drawing to synergize with that aspect of Amber in like Simba, Future King, Beast's Mirror, and even Tinkerbell Tiny Tactician. But I find that Steel's strengths lie more in their removal capabilities. You have some strong cards like Fire the Cannons and Smash to deal damage to chosen characters. Grab Your Sword and Tinkerbell Giant Fairy offer AoE removal, mass removal options just for your opponent's characters there. And then there is the Musketeer Tribal synergy between Goofy Musketeer and Mickey Mouse Musketeer, which, like I mentioned previously, hopefully we'll see more support for that in the future. I think that there is definitely potential with Amber Steel combinations, especially, we did see what was it, Musketeer's Tabard released recently as well. So, there hopefully will be more options for that going forward here. So, my final thoughts with Amber currently are that there really are several different approaches you can use to build an Amber deck. Whether you want to focus on a particular tribe, mechanic, or play style is ultimately up to you, but you're certainly going to have options to choose from here if you want to play with an Amber Ink kind of deck. And I'm excited to see what people come up with. I feel like there's a lot of potential with Amber, and I truly am excited to see what people brew up. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the analysis, and I look forward to reviewing the rest of the ink colors soon. Bye for now.